So how many Stallone movies is this for us now? Like 6 or 7?
Ooh. Is this a test? Because I'm not going to do very well.
You remember that we watched the fucking original Howling, so I'm not assuming your memory's going to be great for exact numbers.
Yeah,
but,
you can't put me through these tests at the start of the episode. You know, drinking and memory don't go well together.
Old age, we're both getting fucking old.
Yeah, that's true too.
In our early mid 40s.
Yeah, that's pretty old, I think. For me, I guess, in the length of my life.
It's the oldest I've ever been.
Felt, both body and mind.
Although then you look at Stallone in this movie, he's like fucking 45, and I'm like,
what did we do wrong with our lives?
No, I'm like 1 year and I can be in that kind of shape. That's all it's going to take.
I like that positive outlook.
Yeah. I'll be fucking barehanding mountains in Colorado.
You'll be 1 of 10 who can climb to the top of that peak.
That's right. Only 10 guys on Earth.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And you're going to be one of them.
Stallone, Michael Rooker, and me. That's all it is. Welcome to Bad Movies and Beer. I'm Cooper.
And I'm Nolan.
And today we are watching perhaps our biggest movie of the season.
Like blockbuster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we had a couple other ones, but for my money, Cliffhanger. If you were alive in 1993 or 1 or whatever. 3? 3. It was a big time.
Yeah, this is a movie that when you told me we were going to watch it, I second-guessed you a little bit. I said, is this going to be another Top Gun scenario? I remember this being a pretty good movie.
You know what? I get that reaction. I do. I would like to point out that you've had that thought about several movies that we put on here, and they've ended up mostly, except for Top Gun, really just being as bad as I thought they were.
Well, yeah, I guess the lesson that we're learning through the process of watching these together I think we've talked about this before, but that I was just a complete dumbass as a child.
Oh, well, that's exactly right. Time has made us both realize it's like Stallone thing all over again. We're getting older, and now the stuff that amused us as children,
not
like
as
early
amusing,
teenagers,
not as amusing anymore, or things that we thought were well done. We have a bit of a broader perspective on and can talk about them in a different way.
Sure, yeah.
I like Congo was still fantastic though.
Oh my God, come on, man. Well, that was you know what? That was a big. Well, it wasn't really a big movie, I guess. They swung for the fences on that one. They did not connect. Whereas with this, I remember this being reasonably big.
Yeah, and I also remember it being something that got played ad nauseum as a weekend movie. Like this was
all the time on
on
TV. Yes, sir. Yeah. And we're revisiting it here. But before we start talking about all of Stallone's incredible manly feats, we, as always, have paired this movie up with a beer. But first, this is the moment that the world has been waiting for.
By the world, you mean like 3 people?
Some people were very concerned about this and offered their opinions online about which one of us was right. But back in our episode on Hammer, we got in an argument, as we often do, about the, not about this, but in general, lots of arguments, about the name of the guy he fights in the climactic boxing scene.
Yes.
And you were convinced it was Irish Joe. And I thought that you were just an idiot.
Yeah, well, that's
fair.
There's
no way his name is Irish
no
Joe.
Way they called that guy.
Yeah, so I
Irish
derisively
Joe.
was slagging you off. And we made a chug bet.
Yeah.
To chug a beer for whoever was wrong. And I'm here now to say on the record, I'm still not totally sure. I think
it's. Oh, that's absolute bullshit. We went and we watched it back together, and they do the great announcement for the Hammer first.
Yes,
and then his opponent from some who knows in Massachusetts. They load it all up.
Irish Joe.
Irish Joe.
You were right.
I was,
and I was wrong.
Yes, and you know what that means then?
Chug a fucking beer, man. But so this is good because our beer for our episode today is from the Blue Mountain Brewing Company, and it's I thought to myself, what's a good beer to chug in the event that I thought it'd be you chugging it, not me. But I'm glad that I went this route now because I went with a light lager.
You hedged your bets. Yeah. You were like, win or lose, this light lager is something I'm willing to chug. We're not going to have an IPA chug off.
This is the thing. I thought it'd be you chugging, and I was going to graciously chug alongside you because I bought an extra can of this Blue Mountain Brewing Company light lager. It's not for our Cliffhanger episode, but it relates. The other beer we're having is from the same brewery. So 2 beers from Blue Mountain, but this one's going to just be a straight chug in honor of Irish Joe.
Yes, and you know what? Being an ex-Irishman, I thought I'm willing to. You had already bought 2 beer, one so that you could be magnanimous. And you know what? Any opportunity for me to jump on that good guy train, I'm going for it. We're going to chug one together with you.
And if you'd like to hear the full story of Noel's ex-Irishness, go back and listen to our Boondock Saints 2 All Saints Day episode to hear the story of
the emotional roller coaster of my identity.
Questionable heritage brought to light. So, yeah, man, I'm going to pour this Blue Mountain Light Lager. I'm going to chug it. You're going to join me. What a gentleman. So there are no losers here today. Only winners. You know what? This is crystal clear. I feel great about this. Oh,
that's good.
Well, Slancha.
Cheers.
There we go.
You crushed that.
Oh, it's so cold.
Yeah, it's so cold. It's too cold.
It's so cold. You're halfway done.
I got 2/3 done, and you crushed it.
I nailed it. I win the chug off. But the real winner here today are fans of completing the circle of
bets.
People who like questions being answered. They're the real winner.
We didn't leave this one out there for you.
Am I instantly drunk from drinking this
I
beer?
think so.
No, my brain freeze is just slowing me down. It's so cold.
Oh, it's so cold. I'm not even done.
Cold and crisp. Blue Mountain Brewing Company Light Lager. That's a winner. I hope the beer we drink for the rest of this episode is as good as this. That went down real smooth. Thank Christ, because it was a tall chug. And speaking of that other beer that we're drinking for today's episode, what do we got today?
Okay. Well, beer number 2 for us from the Blue Mountain Brewing Company here is called Slopeside. This is a Pog Sour, passion fruit, orange, guava for the Pog here. So Blue Mountain Brewing Company, I think, is a partnership or the same company that runs the Thornbury Craft in Ontario.
Oh, the cidery.
The cidery. They have a massive cidery.
Oh, yeah, those fuckers are everywhere.
So I think that the same company has brought in a brewmaster to make the Blue Mountain Brew Co. beers. There's actually another Blue Mountain Brewing Company, but in the United States. So any of our American listeners, it's not the one in Virginia.
I wouldn't mind trying something. We can find out a fucking mountain movie.
Yeah, oh, definitely. We could try theirs too. But this one is from Ontario, and it's made in Thornbury at the Craft Cidery. So I think it's made in the same facility that they make their ciders there. So we just chugged a light lager. Now we're going to get to have a bit of a slower enjoyment, hopefully, of this one, the Slopeside. Obviously, a clear connection to Cliffhanger here, Blue Mountain Brewing Company, and Slopeside is where you spend all that time climbing mountains.
Well, if they had called this Slope Slide, that would have really related to something we see later on in the movie.
Yeah, there's definitely some avalanches or rock falls here, and it would fit. But even the picture of the mountain on the can itself is a perfect fit. So good connection here. I'm interested to try this one out. Hopefully, I still have a palate after chugging that other beer. I think.
Why wouldn't you? It was a light beer. It's exactly. It creates the palate for you. It's what we all drank first. It's what beer is supposed to taste like. And now, a style that I have grown to appreciate as I got older is fruited sour. As you know, I'm a fruited sour man.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to have a high bar for this one. I hope this can clear it.
Expectations for you are going to be high on this.
Yeah. I don't know if you know, only 10 beers on earth can climb my bar of sour. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, man. Let's crack into this and see how it is.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Ooh. So after the opening credits, we faded on a rescue helicopter flying over the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. It's searching for a pair of climbers while another member of the rescue team is scaling a particularly difficult-looking bluff by hand. They spot the missing climbers first, or rather they spot the smoke from their emergency flare. And before long, they also spot the other member, who is, of course, Sylvester Stallone. And he reaches the summit where the climbers are on his own, using only a combination of muscle and brawn. Turns out one of the climbers is another member of the rescue team. Hal is his name, played by Michael Rooker. And once Stallone gets up there, it's all smiles and handshakes.
So, how's the knee?
I think it's out. No big deal.
Oh yeah, I remember when you twisted it getting out of that hot tub.
I thought it was an old war wound from Nam.
Really?
They're laughing and joshing and having a great time. And if you can't tell that something's about to go seriously wrong here, then you've never seen a Stallone movie. The good times don't last, buddy.
Oh no,
they don't last forever.
You gotta build stakes quickly in a Stallone movie, right? You're not able to be cheery throughout this thing. I will say the shots that we're getting are
Beautiful.
soaring, and the accompanying music is excellent. Things are starting on a really hot note here. We're getting quite the rock jock kind of shots from Stallone as his like bristling muscles are there as he flexes his way up that mountain.
Yeah, it's a very Stallone intro.
Oh, yeah. God, it is absolutely just a highlight of his body and machismo. But funny here, a little good conversation with Rooker. But as you said, we know none of this is going to last very long. They have to start building the tension here. We need drama for this to be a Stallone movie. I'm feeling anxious immediately. I know what's coming. I've written it in my notes. I'm like, well, which one of them is dead?
Oh, yeah. It's the girl. It's Michael Rooker's lady friend.
Everything seems fine, but the rescue starts to go wrong after she gets herself halfway out this line, right? She's climbing across. They've attached a line from the helicopter onto the mountain, and they're trying to sort of slide themselves away. But unfortunately, the bracket or the carabiner holding her snaps, and Sarah is in trouble.
Oh, yeah, man. Before long, she is dangling precariously over a several 1,000-foot drop. Stallone goes out to get her despite the fact that the cable isn't rigged for 2 people. But there's no time. So he goes for it and manages to grab her just before she falls to a terrible, terrible death. Only even a strong man like Stallone can't support the weight of a full-grown adult woman who's swinging around wildly. So he and Hal and everyone else practically beg her to reach up with her other arm to steady herself. She maybe tries it first, but as she starts slipping out of her climbing gloves and Stallone's grip, she gets increasingly frantic and is just flailing around. And despite Stallone's best efforts, this lady ends up falling to her death while he struggles to express sadness and regret. Those were his real best efforts of trying to express those emotions.
Oh my goodness, yeah. There are a lot of challenging acting moments here, both from the Sarah character who's telling him not to let her fall, from Rooker, who is saying, "Don't you lose her, goddammit, don't you lose her." And then when she slips, obviously, this is devastating for all of them. And we're going to cut away and return to broken friendships and families here.
Oh, later on for sure. You mentioned the acting. It's the intense close-ups that really highlight that. They are not afraid to get right in there and show you exactly what these characters are trying to feel.
I love how you add trying in there because clearly you don't buy it very much. I had in my notes here that I really like the camera work. Like just before this happened, I'm enjoying the different angles and shots we're getting. But you're right. The like massive zooms on these characters' faces as they're going through the worst moment of their life is a bit too much, I think.
We get a great one of those at the end of this movie, and we'll get to it. But yeah, for sure. Our next scene is going to take us inside the FBI, where a U.S. Treasury agent is going to supervise the transport of millions of dollars of uncirculated cash. It's a momentary diversion meant to set up the plot of this movie, but the real money here is Sylvester Stallone's emotional journey, one which has brought him back, like you said, to the mountains of Colorado that once brought him happiness. After a brief interaction with 2 wildly miscast caricatures of extreme snowboarders or whatever, Gabe, that's Sly's character's name, stops by his old girlfriend Jesse's house to try to convince her to join him in Denver. She can't bring herself to leave the life she's built for herself here, and she also can't convince Gabe to stay and try to make peace with the past. Luckily for Jesse, there's a certain treasury heist that's about to take place several thousand feet up in the air that's going to take care of that for her. It's all falling into place.
Oh, yeah, we're not going to have to resolve this problem of hate or love, right? They have that conversation, and she tells him she doesn't know if she hates him or loves him, but clearly he came back for her, but is unwilling to come back to the life of a... What are they? Like
mountain rescue.
Mountain rescuers. Yeah. So just people who are trained to climb in the most dangerous mountains in Colorado.
And save those who climb in the most dangerous mountains of Colorado.
Or save those who lose $50 million in unmarked, unregistered dollars.
Yeah, that's where we're headed. That's exactly right. Yeah. No.
Oh, my goodness.
And we get more of that in a second. When a young Treasury agent recently transferred in notices a second plane flying alongside the FBI transport and correctly surmises that a hijacking is about to take place. Unfortunately for him, he's unable to convince the other agents despite his emphatic pleas.
Christ, we're losing altitude and slowing down. Get your weapons. I said get your weapons!
You're highly trained agents, Mr. Matheson. I think you're overreacting.
What the hell are you waiting for, goddammit? Don't you see what he's doing? He's hijacking the shipment.
Instead of listening to him, the 2 other agents grab him, which allows their boss to reveal himself as a turncoat as he shoots them all dead. Or almost all dead. After the turncoat guy slides across a zipline to their plane, the pilot, who was also in on it, is loading up the money to send across, but that young agent pulls himself up and blows the pilot out of the back of the plane before it explodes, sending the money sailing down to the ground below. And you know who's not going to like that? The leader of the hijackers, who is inexplicably played by John Lithgow. What the fuck is he doing as the bad guy in this movie?
He's the guy from Third Rock?
Third Rock from the Sun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sort of how I have him locked in, as a weird, like, family comedy guy.
Harry and the Hendersons?
Oh, I love that movie. Yeah. Or, well, again, another movie I remember fondly, but I'm probably an idiot.
Footloose? Is he in Footloose?
I've never seen the original.
Oh, no. My God. Well, I don't know why I'm surprised. We're 160 fucking episodes in. I'm still surprised by this.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting is there's some strange casting here, and all of it feels kind of rough. This sequence isn't the best, but it all feels like a masterpiece compared to some of the action we've seen lately on the podcast.
Oh, well, that's not really a fair.
I
don't know if that's a fair comparison to put this next to like Samurai Cop and be like, go ahead.
But when when the last thing I watched was that in my mind, right? I'm like, oh man, they've done a really good job with this. This casting is disgusting. John Lithgow's here.
Well, listen, he's a great actor. I'm just not sure I buy him as the menacing bully type. This guy you sang fucking singing in the bathtub, and now he's here trying to go hand to hand with Stallone. Like,
you know
come
what?
on.
Sometimes that person who is so out of what you expect them to be ends up being the most menacing, right? This is a guy who, like, he seems pretty broken in this. It feels like he is going to be able to do anything. It was like the good guy who now has cracked and it has no boundaries.
I don't know, man. You're selling hard for him here, but I don't necessarily agree. Anyway, the hijacker's plane took some damage in the exchange with a now deceased agent, so they have to make an emergency landing even if the money they're after wasn't down there. They managed to do this, although they do lose a couple of guys, and with their original plan shattered, they decide to pivot, with John Lithgow having his lady pilot calling an SOS to the mountain rangers. There's a big storm coming, or in progress or whatever, so they can't fly a helicopter up there, and that means they need climbers. And as good as Hal is, we know there's only one man for the job. Jessie knows that too, so she finds Sylvester Stallone and asks him to get back on the horse. He tells her it's been too long and he's lost the feel for it, and she hits him with this.
Maybe you mean the nerve. What has happened to you? Don't you feel anything anymore?
Feel anything? Jesse, I came back for you.
I say this every time we watch a Stallone movie, but I love it when they give him a big dramatic moment. This won't be the last one we get, and they are always great. Like, not great in the traditional sense, but in terms of what we're doing here, fucking love it.
Oh my goodness. The thing you have to give Stallone,
he goes for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to give him credit for fully committing, right? You're never going to criticize Stallone for half-assing his dramatic lines. He gives it his all. It's just, I don't know whether it's the accent or it's the like depth of his voice. It's just so deep, or I don't know, the height of his manliness. None of it seems like it's quite there.
Oh, man. Well, despite turning Jesse down, when Hal climbs up to the first summit of whatever mountain they're on, he finds that Sylvester Stallone is already there. Speaking of manly moves, he just couldn't stay away. But as he tells Hal before a tense standoff, once they get these people down, he's gone. That's not good enough for Hal, at least not at first. He wants Gabe off this mountain and out of his life, but after angrily dangling Stallone over the edge of the mountain and blaming him for the death of his girlfriend, Hal calms down enough to accept his help to get the job done. And before you know it, they've found the alleged missing climbers, been taken hostage at gunpoint, and are being forced to climb up to retrieve the stolen money. And listen, that sounds bad, but I feel like that turncoat treasury guy is still in a worse position. What's his name? Travis?
Yeah, Travis.
Is it Travis or Travers?
Ooh, good question. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I just called him Treasury Guy through most of it. He has a pretty good mustache.
Great mustache. That's the only place he's good at growing hair.
Yeah, not in his head. I don't think we get a shot of his groin, so I'm not sure if we get to identify that one. He is in trouble, though. He even gets threatened to be tossed out of that plane. He's almost becoming useless to them, except for he does have a tracking device for these cases of money, which have been scattered in these mountains.
And he knows the codes.
So they need him. He's sort of ensured his own safety for a little bit of time here. I wanted to go and give you a little bit of credit. I'm looking at my notes here, and when Hal, when Rooker had Stallone hanging off the edge of the mountain, I wrote in my notes, I'm pretty sure that Rooker feels like a better villain here and that they should have swapped him.
Oh my God, he'd have been a much better villain.
Yeah, I put it.
Michael Rooker's played a bad guy before.
And it feels appropriate. I feel like he might have been, if you just swap those two, do you think this movie is significantly better?
Yes, and for the record, I want this to be made clear. I am much more scared of Michael Rooker than I am of John Lithgow.
Now, could you believe John Lithgow could be a rock jock?
No, you're right. That's where you lose me also. Yeah, maybe not.
So he sucks in both of the parts is what you're saying.
I don't know. I think he sucks. I'm just saying the casting for me does not really work.
That's fair. So now our two rock jocks, our heroes, Rooker and Stallone, are in trouble. They are being held at gunpoint, and they're going to need to go fetch those as they keep getting called all these weird derogatory names by the crew of villains. This is where I actually had the biggest problem with the casting or the acting was we're going to get a lot of screen time of the goons who accompany Lithgow and the treasury guy, and they're not very good.
Not only that, what an eclectic bunch. We've seen this before where the henchmen are all different in body size, racial, cultural background, different accents all over the place.
Is this a James Bond thing? Is this just pulling in a weird homage to those style of movies?
I don't know what it is, but they just it's real. You know what it is? It's a chance to get some representation in your movie. Well, we got to have a woman. Put her with John Lithgow. We got to have a black guy. Get him in there. There's always, I don't know. I feel like that's just an easy place to check some casting boxes,
Yeah, the villain crew is a lot.
It is. Hey, do you like gratuitous 90s green screen? Oh, because that's what we get once they find the first suitcase. They make Stallone climb up to get it without any of his gear, which of course he does easily. Almost as easily as how he's able to break into this high security, federally monitored money transport suitcase using just a big chunk of ice. But once John Lithgow decides they don't need two guys and orders one of his goons to kill Stallone when he comes back down, we know that getting away definitely won't be that simple. Sorry, I misspoke. We know that getting away definitely will be that simple.
I mean, I got to talk about two things here. One, the egregious use of green screen to show the top-down views. Whenever they make it look like they're in a dangerous place, it is 100% green screen. Although there are definitely times in this where Stallone has put himself in danger doing some of the climbing.
I don't believe that's true.
You don't think he ever was in danger?
No.
So I wonder that because it seems like some of the places they're climbing look like they could be incredibly hazardous. But do you think this is all green screen under?
Yes. I'm sure Stallone did some of his own stunts, but I do not for 1 second believe the studio was cool with him being like, listen, I'm just going to dangle off this
cliff. I'm just going to hang here.
I can do it. Don't worry, guys. No, for insurance reasons alone, we can't have this guy fucking die when we're filming 15% of this movie.
Now, you say he gets away easily.
He does.
I will say they almost yanked him off the cliff. He's able to cut a rope loose.
Almost is so generous.
And then they fire up several grenades and 1,000 bullets into the cliff above him, and an avalanche does start.
Well, that's what I was going to say. All he has to do is hang on to the side of a mountain because once that goon's machine gun fire triggers an avalanche, the snow wipes this dude out. And as an added bonus, when John Lithgow sees the case full of money drop, he assumes Stallone is dead too.
Your friend just had the most expensive funeral in history. Now it's only you.
More like John Wishko, am I right? No, we see in a moment that Sylvester Stallone.
God, that was terrible.
No, it's fine. We see in a moment that Sylvester Stallone is very much alive. Dude just rolls into some old cabin rocking nothing but a t-shirt and his climbing shoes and tells Jessie to get her ass in gear. They've got to save Hal before the hijackers find the other case or he's a dead man. And also pants. I don't know why I didn't mention those. Stallone was wearing pants. I just said his shirt and his climbing shoes. I realized afterwards.
You just thought he was pantsless, huh? Yeah. He was frozen, though. He needed to get to that abandoned
he should have been.
cabin. And he does get there just in time to find some warmer clothes and the tools he needs to go beat the others to this place. He has an advantage. He knows these mountains better than anyone else, and he also knows that Hal is going to try to slow down these bad guys as much as he can.
Yeah, man, I actually wrote here in my notes, knowing the terrain gives Gabe an inherent advantage, as despite having to pull himself up that mountain and get dressed, Stallone manages to find the case he dropped before John Lithgow's crew does, even though they have that tracker that Travis has. Sly leaves a single $100 bill behind with a note written on it. It was objectively a badass move. but Lithgow correctly surmises that he can't have gotten far and sends one of his goons after Stallone with a machine gun and night vision goggles. This leads to a pretty stellar sequence where Sly outsmarts the guy and then rides him like a toboggan until he flies off the edge of a cliff. That was great shit.
Oh, the outsmart is that he has a flare and he uses that to blind the guy.
Oh, it blinds
with
the
night
shit
vision.
out of him, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this has been done in other movies. I'm thinking Predator for some reason, and I don't know why, or maybe just...
No, in Predator, Arnold uses that like cold mud to hide his heat. It's the opposite.
Okay, he goes the
Yeah.
other direction here. But yeah, this is a good move. Although it's his moment to disarm the guy, but they do get into a bit of a punch fight and end up falling down the hill. You described it as him riding him like a snowboard.
He is. No, like a toboggan.
Oh, yeah. It was a bit of a back and forth before that happens. He does eventually get on top, knock the guy unconscious, and then use his pick to catch himself before he flies off a cliff. The goon goes flying, though, so I think this is the second goon down. I think we lost one in the avalanche.
Plus a couple died in that plane crash. So
okay.
Lithgow's crew is now, there's maybe 4 or 5 left. Not a lot.
And I don't think he minds that much because it just means he has to share that money a little bit less,
yeah,
right? And so,
more money for everyone else.
yeah, he's not too worried. This is why he's willing to send the goons out to their death to chase down Stallone.
Of course. Well, I mean, they're just goons, man. Do you know any of their names?
No.
Exactly. They're completely replaceable. So, bit of a sidebar here. You know what I did not need at this point? Another visit from those snowboarding bozos we met earlier. But that's what we get.
Why are these guys cut into the film?
So they can get killed, or I don't know.
Only one of them gets killed.
That is true.
The other one gets away, and it
You know
doesn't
what?
even
Yeah.
lead to like.
Great point. Comedy? Are they here for comedy?
I thought that him getting away was going to lead to the
Nothing.
like police or rescuers finding and saving the others. It doesn't.
No, you're right. You convinced me now. This is completely useless. And I have some scenes coming up where I'm like, this is padding to me. These characters are padding.
Do you think they had more and they cut it out because the acting was so bad? These are like your traditional snowboard stoner caricatures.
Yeah, I think they might actually be cliff divers because the guy does jump up. We're going to see in a
Yeah.
second.
Oh, they're definitely cliff divers.
But like,
yeah.
maybe they're there because he has a conversation with Stallone when they see him in the Jeep or whatever. Are they just there to help like establish like Stallone's good guy kind of?
Yeah, some credibility.
He's a friend of the mountain. I don't know. It seems
not. It didn't help. For
No,
me.
it did not. But like I said, we are going to see them again as Lithgow's crew moves towards the second case. These guys spot Hal and shout a warm greeting, which unfortunately gets the attention of the hijackers. And that'll pretty much be the end of these guys as they get run down and gunned down. Although the last one does manage to get a dive off before parachuting down to almost safety. Hal doesn't like that, and he lets John Lithgow know it.
You murdering motherfucker.
Kill a few people, they call you a murderer. Kill a million, and you're a conqueror. Go figure.
Now, a coroner would obviously chalk these guys' death up to the bullets, but in my opinion, what really killed them was a bad case of wrong place, wrong time-itis.
Yeah, why are they on this mountain right now? They knew there was a storm. They make an excuse about them getting stuck there. I don't know. Also stuck there are Jesse and Gabe, or the Stallone character. They're stuck in a cave overnight.
Oh, fuck me. This is one of the scenes I'm talking about. We get these scenes now that to me feel a lot like padding. There's Lithgow's crew moving through the snow, scheming and plotting about how they will or won't be dividing up the money, while that old helicopter pilot who's a part of the rescue team, Frank, I think his name is,
Yeah.
he scares some wolves away from that parachute guy's body. But yes, our most enjoyable and unnecessary detour involves Sylvester Stallone and Jesse creeping through a cave that is pretty much just an excuse to give us a scare when a whole colony of bats swarm them. Now I say pretty much because we do get a pretty sweet fight scene there in a minute.
Yeah, the bat thing was weird to me. It seemed unnecessary and also not scary.
I mean, if you don't like bats, it's scary as shit.
But it felt like a moment that would have fit into a, like, I don't know, Indiana Jones style movie, and this does not feel like that. It felt like someone tried to shoehorn that in there.
Well, that's why I said it feels like padding. Probably the scariest part for you was the unflattering portrayal of women. Because Jessie spots one bat and starts screaming her head off, and they all just fucking swarm.
Well, yeah, and she also like spent that night with him in the cave. I was curious. They used the millions of dollars to burn to keep warm.
Yeah.
I was like, what's
Stallone doesn't
happening?
need money.
Yeah, I guess
The mountain is his currency.
Yeah, I know.
That's what you said. No. Well, funny you mentioned that cave and Stallone and them spending the night, because the next morning, one guy from Lithgow's crew finds Stallone and demands to know where the money is. Now, when Sly won't tell him, this guy starts kicking the ever-loving shit out of him. This guy's getting angrier and angrier, and although he puts up a good fight, it's looking like Stallone is going to need some serious help to get out of this one. That help will not come from Jesse, who picks up the henchman's gun and tries to shoot him, which leads to the only line I remembered from this movie when she pulls the trigger and nothing happens.
No bullets, bitch!
Luckily, it turns out the help Stallone needs is right above him the whole time, in the form of very pointy rocks growing down from the top of the cave. He picks this dude up and just impales him on one of them. Game over. What a great kill.
Oh my goodness. This is a long sequence. The guy sees Stallone actually at the top of the cave. Stallone had dug his way out in an attempt to find where Hal was in that third case. And the guy notices him, shoots at him. Stallone falls from this cave, got to be 2 stories, is not hurt.
Of course not.
No. The guy then climbs down, kicks the shit out of Stallone. Like, this isn't even close. They're not even giving Stallone, like, any credit here. The guy seems to be a bit of a martial artist. I guess they're building his credibility on the crew. But all it takes is Stallone's one power lift of this guy right through the fucking stalactite coming down from the top of the cave there.
Is that what it's called? I was trying to remember the name.
I don't know if it's a tight or mite. One of them's from the bottom, one's from the top. I probably screwed it up, and some kind of rock jock is going to tell me I'm wrong.
It was a tight kill. I know that much.
That's
just a fucking manly kill. Powers the guy up over the head.
What a power lift.
Oh, fuck.
And it goes right through his
God
chest.
Damn. Good stuff.
It's actually pretty hilarious. I enjoyed it.
I did too.
This fight and that end kill was good. Now they have to still go catch up with Hal, though. We're still on a chase for that third case. And if they don't get there before, then we know Hal is going to be in trouble.
That's true, and at the same time, Lithgow knows that Stallone is on his heels. So since guns and an avalanche didn't get the job done, he basically just starts trying to blow Stallone up, first by throwing a bomb in that cave, and then by placing explosives on one end of a rope bridge in the hopes it'll drop Gabe and Jesse to their deaths below. This is somehow the least exciting near fall in the last 5 minutes, as the two of them first try to descend from one of the mountains using a rope that looks like it's 60 years old, only to have that same rope inevitably snap, which forces Sylvester Stallone's character to relive the most traumatic experience of his life. Jesse is hanging on for dear life, pleading with Gabe to not let go, and this can't help but give Hal's girlfriend vibes from the start of the movie. And I don't know about you, but even before seeing this movie as a 13-year-old or whatever, I would have bet everything I owned this moment was 100% going to happen. Like, of course Stallone has to get his groove back by succeeding where he once failed. That was an absolute layup.
You are right, but the victory here is not Stallone's. The reason why Jessie survives is because she swings her arms up and also helps. The reason why the other woman died is because she flailed and sort of let herself go.
So you're saying weak moment in the cave with the bats, strong moment dangling for her life. So it all comes out in the wash.
Yeah, I mean, but you're giving the credit here to Stallone when really he just has the right woman in his hands at this point.
I think he would agree it's the right woman. He doesn't want to fucking save Michael Rooker's girlfriend. He wants to save his girlfriend.
Well, yeah, if there's one of the two. If he had a choice at the start of this movie, he only got to save one. He would have picked Jesse for sure. Who would have you picked?
You know what? I don't love... This is one of the parts I'm going to get to in my bad enjoyable ratings here. I didn't love either of the female... I don't know, you can't really call the one girl a lead.
None of them had the je ne sais quoi that you're looking for.
Yeah, that chick who played Stirba had when we watched Howling 2 a couple weeks ago. Why didn't they get her on the mountain? No.
There's only so many times they can flash to her shirt getting ripped off.
God damn. No, I mentioned that rope a minute ago. You know what else is snapping? Basically all of the hijackers. This one guy, who I think is Australian, kills Stallone's old helicopter pilot friend from the rescue team. Then Travis pulls a gun on John Lithgow and tries to take command. Then Lithgow pulls a gun and shoots his right-hand man, or woman actually, who might also be his girlfriend, just so he'll be the only helicopter pilot left. So yeah, tensions are running high here on top of the mountain. Everyone's just shouting at everyone, and they still haven't found that other case. I don't know, Noel. I'm starting to think these guys might not pull this off.
This is the part in my notes where I'm like, this is way more dramatic and long than I remember.
It is getting a little long at this point.
Yeah, like it is feeling like they're pushing this climax a little bit further than it needs to go. We're complaining about padding, but I would have been happy if they cut out, like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes of the goon shit that is happening here.
Yeah, that's fair. This thing's like almost 2 hours long. I could have done with like an hour 40. Anyway, we get lots of long-distance shots of Stallone climbing an icy mountain with his bare hands, and before long, he has made it to the final case. He starts grabbing the money, but senses something approaching and pauses. And you know who else is approaching the case? Travis, that Australian guy, and Hal. And once Travis confirms that the location is locked in, it's time for Hal to die. He's facing it like a man, though, as he tells this Australian guy,
You're an asshole.
Yeah? And you're a loudmouth punk slag. He's about to die.
Maybe. But in a minute, I'll be dead. You will always be an asshole.
Turns out Hal's only half right, as after a few minutes of the Australian guy reliving his soccer days using him as the ball, he gets cocky dangling high over the side of a mountain. That allows him to stick him with a knife, grab the dude's shotgun, and simultaneously blast him in the chest and pull him over the side. So long, asshole.
That was a pretty memorable line.
Not bad,
Yeah, that's not a bad line. I thought that sequence was actually quite good. Again, though, I feel like they pushed our heroes getting their ass kicked right to the edge again.
Literally.
Yes.
He's dangling.
He's dangling.
Yeah.
And they take it as far as they can, and I think at some point that becomes less believable.
I mean, you want to talk about less believable. We have seen a lot of ridiculous shit in this movie, but I don't think anything could prepare me for the ridiculous shit we get next.
It's about to come.
Travers is all confused because the case's signal, a signal that was locked in mere moments ago, is now moving all over the place. And we find out why in a second as a rabbit hops into frame wearing the transmitter from the case. So if you're keeping score at home, Sylvester Stallone sensed a rabbit approaching, caught it with his bare hands, attached a transmitter to it, and then set it loose to run around the Colorado Rockies and torment some hijackers. And that's before he pulls Travers through a rope bridge and survives a plunge into an ice-covered river. Things are just coming unhinged here at this point.
I will say, credit to Stallone and the screenwriters, they do show a rabbit hole beside the case before this all happened.
Dude, you can't catch a fucking rabbit. You know how hard it is to catch a rabbit?
If it is hibernating in that hole or inside of it, he could just reach in and grab it. Now, why it is woken up and bouncing around for him afterwards, I can't explain all of nature.
Yeah, that.
I'm not that person, but holy shit. Him falling off the goddamn mountain and surviving, and then crashing through the goddamn bridge and surviving.
And the ice.
Going under the ice.
He doesn't crash through the bridge. He busts up through the bridge and pulls Travers down.
Oh my God. It is absolutely unbelievable is beyond how I would describe this sequence.
Yeah, like I said, things are becoming unhinged. But Stallone, who is now in the fucking river, he crashes through the ice and is like there where he absolutely would have just died if Travis had just left him the fuck alone. But instead, the former Treasury agent decides to shoot Stallone through the ice, only to get a taste of his own medicine when Sly puts 3 in his chest with some kind of mountaineering gun. Travis' body falls into the river and gets swept away, and Hal shows up in the nick of time to pull Stallone out of there. And thank goodness, because John Lithgow as Jesse and is going to kill her if Gabe and Hal don't deliver the money. And speaking of killing people, am I crazy, or is this like the 4th or 5th time that Stallone's character should have frozen to death?
Certainly the most likely he freezes to death for sure.
He was under that ice for like a minute and a half, and now he's just out exposed to the elements in this freezing cold fucking Rocky Mountain.
Yeah.
Dude's just trucking along.
He is Aquaman in that he doesn't need to breathe underwater. He also does not feel the cold. That fucking snipe he had that went through the water with the spike
3.
gun. Yeah, 3 shots into his chest. I was also really upset that we get a silly under ice shot of the Travers character like floating away. They decide to shoot to him as his body floats away, and it's really, really silly.
That's after the silly under ice shot of Stallone looking up through it and shooting the fucking gun.
Yeah, it's a lot. And thankfully, though, for both of us, we're heading to the final standoff. It's Stallone versus Lithgow now. The thing that you were waiting for, a battle on the top of the world here.
Yeah, the thing I've been waiting for. This is going to really settle things once and for all is who's the bigger man. John Lithgow is flying the rescue helicopter around. That's how he was able to nab Jessie. She thought it was that old pilot and basically walked right into it. And he tells Stallone to throw the money up into the helicopter or he'll kill her. Gabe says no dice and points Lithgow to an area where he wants him to let her down. And once Jessie is free and clear, Stallone tells him to come closer, 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 until he's close enough for Stallone to throw the bag of money into the blades of the helicopter. Now, this probably shouldn't do anything, but what it does do is create enough of a distraction for Stallone to grab the helicopter's winch and clip it to a metal ladder that's attached to the mountain. And even though that probably also shouldn't do anything, it causes the helicopter to smash into the side and hang precariously upside down. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, for some reason, Stallone was holding onto that same ladder, so now he's down there too. Can I interest you in a fist fight on top of an upside-down helicopter? That's how I imagine the screenwriter is pitching this movie to the studio.
Holy shit. A lot happens in this like 5-minute sequence that is just so unbelievable. The first thing that I have a problem with is they told us earlier in the movie that this helicopter is almost out of fuel.
Yes, he's flying it around for a while. I had
so
that same
much
thought.
so
Yeah.
that they couldn't go get the third case because it would run out. They either could go to the bottom or get the case, yet he's flown around for a long time here, so that pissed me off. The fact that he was able to secure a winch to the side of this thing was like hilarious and shocking.
Well, how about the fact that he like is clearly trying to lure Lithgow into a trap? He's staying close like 7 times, and he just fucking flies into it.
Just goes at it. Yeah.
Boy, this guy really wants me over there. I think I should go. Like,
I mean, Lithgow kind of does chase him down a little bit with it. He's trying to get back at him too, right? Like Lithgow might be trying to end him with the helicopter here.
let's get the blades to cut him.
Yeah.
That's why he's holding the
I think
ladder. He
that's
jumps over the
why
side.
He's trying to go after him. But yeah, it's all a whole lot. As the whole thing like tumbles over and crashes and doesn't explode. Like,
Yeah.
I was like,
Point for you?
I thought this was going to explode. The ladder that it's on cannot have enough support for
My God,
a helicopter
no.
to hang on it. The whole
It's
thing
so
would have
thin.
tumbled.
Yeah.
And then the fact that they are fighting on the edge was both awesome and terrible. Because a fight between John Lithgow and Sylvester Stallone is not believable in the first place. But a fight of the two of them on top of the helicopter just pushed it to a place where I laughed so fucking hard.
Yeah, I was laughing too. But that's what I'm saying the whole time. It's not a credible, believable fight. And you'll never believe it. But Stallone wins. That's shocking, right? And after telling Lithgow to keep his arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times, which is not Stallone's best line, he basically jumps off the helicopter right before it falls, smashing to the ground below. And we spotted those close-ups earlier in the zoom-in close-ups. The shot we get of John Lithgow's terrified face before the crash is like absolutely hilarious. But not as hilarious as the button Michael Rooker puts on this movie when he radios the FBI.
If you're looking for Mr. Quaylen, try about 4,000 feet south of here. He'll be the one wearing a helicopter.
Now that's a good line.
Oh my goodness. We get Stallone, who sort of climbs his way with a little bit of help back to the top of that mountain. The FBI show up just late enough that they didn't have to fucking do anything. They give the thumbs up to our 3 Rocky Mountain heroes, and we hit to the credits.
Yeah, dude, that is it. We do get another glorious shot of the Rockies before the soaring sounds of our theme music triumphantly take us to the credits. And man, all I could think of here was they just don't make them like this anymore, huh?
Oh my goodness. This kind of let's just do all action and not give a shit kind of movie does not get made now.
No, this actually, I was thinking about this. It's actually kind of one of the last ones from like that boom period of the 80s into the 90s, the jacked up muscle men, just like put them in a new location and whatever. That sort of ended like late 90s. I think this is one of like the last ones to get through that was like a big box office hit.
Yeah.
How many more hits does Stallone have after this?
I don't know.
Not a lot, I feel.
No, and what's it replaced by? Like the sci-fi action kind of?
No, the fucking Jason Bourne, like not super jacked looking dude, up close, quick cut, like hand-to-hand martial arts.
Yeah.
Roll up a phone book and bludgeon some guy with it.
You missed the old days. You missed the bodybuilders getting out there, stomping
Listen,
ass. I
my
know you're
love of Arnold Schwarzenegger
is
is no. I'm a Schwarzenegger. I'm not
well,
Stallone, man. I love Stallone too, but like Schwarzenegger's my guy, and that's what I grew up on. It's what you grew up on. We all grew up on that.
I know.
That's what action is.
I
to
was
me.
a JVD man, but you know.
Oh, JCVD. Yeah. We watched a couple of Van Damme. We're overdue for another Van Damme movie.
Ooh, yeah.
Should get on that. No,
I wanna
man,
see
that's
some splits
a-
between 2 trucks.
between 2 trucks. Does he do that?
Yeah. Oh goddamn. Yeah.
I remember the splits on like 2 counters from like Time Cop or whatever.
Oh,
but
he also does it between 2 moving trucks.
fuck, man. What
Yeah.
movie is that? Let's watch that.
It
one.
might be Time Cop.
Like, oh my god! All right,
Same
well,
movie, yeah.
we can look into this. No, man, and that's it. Like again, my thought, a lot of nostalgia for me as I watch this, which happens a lot with movies we talk about. But for some reason, this one really like struck me for some reason. I don't know.
That's fair. I had really positive memories of this going in.
Always a danger.
Watching it again, It did not live up to the quality that I remembered as a child, for sure. I will say that way. And, we might as well start talking soon.
I was going to say,
yeah.
This sounds like a perfect time to transition to our ratings. The way we always do this, we're doing a scale of 1 to 10 2 times. 1 to 10 for how bad it is, 1 to 10 for how enjoyable. And the goal is to find movies that are a 10 or 10 on both scales, or what we call the Crit 20. And I will say, although I did feel very nostalgic for this, I noticed a lot of the stereotypical sort of like goofy elements of this era of action movies. So it follows a lot of sort of the 80s, 90s action movie cliches. And I do like those. I'll come with my enjoyable rating. But I thought that in general, a lot of ridiculous, extremely unrealistic stuff happens, and that sort of dings this for me. I go back to the casting again. Lithgow, to me, fine actor, not the best choice for this. Not a credible threat to Stallone. Michael Rooker did a fucking great job. I thought he was very good. Stallone is Stallone, man. You get what you pay for there. Yeah. Some really nice camera work, although those close-ups, the emotional stuff, that cost a little bit. But the actual, like the landscapes, beautiful locations, those swooping shots in the Rockies. The theme song is on point. So I'm going to have this as an 8 for how bad this is. It does check a lot of those like goofy action movie boxes, but there's a reasonably high level of like technical craft here. Not acting craft, I would not say, but technical craft.
What about Rooker?
So the exception. So I'm an 8. All right. What did you think about this one? How bad did you think it was?
A lot worse than I remembered it. That's for sure. I had on the top of my notes here was plot. Just the idea in general of the 50 million getting lost and that these being the only 3 guys who can help. And then it just seems so ridiculous and unbelievable to me that it didn't hold up to what I remember this being.
Okay.
I had green screen as a big knock on it. The like very active use of green screen for a lot of those shots really bothered me. The bad guys in particular, the goons, were a big problem for me. I didn't have as big a problem with Lithgow, but I do feel like he shouldn't have been the big bad. I actually even think that the other character, the treasury guy, might have been a more believable big bad than him.
Ooh, I don't know. That guy kind of drifted into like Bennett from Commando territory for me. Maybe it's just the mustache. I don't know.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. The overdone drama to me, right? The fact that we had to start out with like a fun 5 minutes into immediate like everything is shit, and I guess
it's the Stallone emotional journey.
That's the Stallone emotional journey. I had it written down as a 7 bad. I think still the music, the sort of cinematography. And I think Stallone did everything he was asked to do. Rooker was decent. I think Lithgow did what he was asked, even if that wasn't that great. I didn't have a huge problem with the female lead casting. I wasn't smitten, but I also didn't feel like any of them didn't do what they were asked to do.
Okay, fair enough. Well, you know you're a friend of all women, so there's that. You're really defending Jessie for pulling herself up.
Yeah.
Stallone had nothing to do with it.
Well, but I also shit on Sarah.
Where were you in the cave, buddy?
I shit on
Where
Sarah
were you in the
for letting
cave
go.
when she was jumping up on a proverbial chair because she saw a mouse?
Well, she also did nothing to help during that fight. That was a bit pathetic too.
She got the gun. She tried to shoot him,
but then immediately got like
that just sat back down. Yeah, that was not great.
That. So I didn't.
Okay,
love that,
so but that sounds more like you're enjoyable. How enjoyable did you find this movie on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh man, the views. I actually think the fights were pretty fun and like reasonably well done. The hanging on the edge one, the cave one was good. The finale on it was good. You enjoy the Stallone-isms. I actually even thought the fight on the helicopter, as ridiculous as it was, my knock on this is how ridiculous it is, but it's also in my enjoyment.
Sure, yeah.
This was one of those things where they went so far and committed so hard to both the drama and the action of this that I had a lot of fun with it. Even though I think some of it is sort of fond memories, I didn't think it was as good as I remembered, but it was as enjoyable or more enjoyable than I remembered.
There's a twist. Okay.
So I had it as a 9 enjoyable.
Wow,
I would very
okay.
happily watch this. Other than it being, I think the knock on it is it's a little longer than it needs to be. I feel like this could cut out 15 minutes and be more succinct and would be a better like action movie.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. Like I said, I got a lot of nostalgia from this. I enjoyed it. I guess my only thing besides the Lithgow casting, I think at the end of the day, if I was in the mood for a Stallone movie, I'd kind of be going down the list a bit before I got to this one. Like, it's fine. It's a fine entry, and I did enjoy it, and it did remind me of some of the joy of kind of seeing it for the first time as a kid. So I only have this as an 8. Still enjoyed it a lot. Would still happily watch it again. But I think I would need to be more in the mood for like this specific movie. Or if I've been going on a Stallone run and I've watched a bunch of other ones I like more, and I'm kind of like just need something different, I would go to this. Not my favorite Stallone, but still just a great time. And again, they don't make them like this anymore. I miss this era of movies. So yeah, overall, an enjoyable experience. And again, I thought Michael Rooker was fucking great. Good job by him.
That's a lot of fun. So I think we ended up with the same score. Overall
aggregate.
total.
Yeah, not
aggregate
aggregate.
score,
Is that the right word? I don't know. But do we have the same opinion about this beer?
I mean, who does not love a Pog Sour?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
What does Pog stand for again?
Fat ass white girl. No, I'm just kidding. Passion fruit orange guava, right?
Yeah. And delicious. When I first took a sip, it hit me immediately like juice, not beer, right? And that's something that you can often get in a fruited sour, and they went heavy on the fruit, and that's not a complaint. It was very, very easy to drink, even easier than that light lager we had.
So I agree. And this reminds me very much of a different beer we drank. I think it was the Phillips Dino Sour that we had when we watched Jurassic Park 3. And we said that was, again, same thing, more fruity than beer tasting. I think at the time we described it almost as more like a cider, which if these guys are the Thornbury cider beer wing, whatever the fuck, then that would actually make sense to me. Because you get a lot more fruit taste than you get beer taste. And it is delicious. Oh, no, we said it was like an alcoholic fruit juice.
Yeah,
I guess cider is kind of like that.
Yeah, that's a good point from you. I wonder if some of their expertise around making ciders went into this fruited sour because it hits really, really well.
Yeah, and I loved the flavor. You get the passion fruit, you get the orange, you get the guava. I would happily drink this again. Perfect beer for summer. Summer hopefully coming sometime soon. It's taking its time a little bit here in Ontario, but no, I love this. Very delicious beer. I thought like chugging that light lager was easy and clean. I'm like, this is a good fucking beer. This one is better, like you said, and I would like to try some more Blue Mountain stuff now because they have a couple other styles.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to go. I have never been to the cidery or their brewery, and it looks like they have a huge space. They have a big menu of food, so it's something definitely worth visiting if you're near the Collingwood area, which is where Blue Mountain itself is. That's sort of a ski resort for Ontario people.
Yeah.
It'd be worth a trip over to the Thornbury Craft Cidery or the Blue Mountain Brewing Company people, which I guess together in that same cool building.
Yeah. They are the Sylvester Stallone and Michael Rooker of brewing. I don't know.
I like that you're trying to make a connection there.
Yeah. Blue Mountain. We're on a mountain.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, you know what cider's made out of?
Apples.
That's right. 2 weeks from today, we're going to be watching a movie called The Apple. Are you familiar with this?
No.
I didn't think so.
Is it the Big Apple, like about New York City?
I honestly don't know, but I do know this. I know this. We haven't done a musical episode this year. You like musicals?
Oh, I do.
Movie musicals?
Yeah.
Now ask yourself, what would happen if the Canon Films guys made a movie musical?
This is a Canon Films musical?
This is a legendarily badly reviewed, I guess, musical by the geniuses?
Yes.
Up behind Canon Films?
I think Genius is appropriate because Canon did stuff that was so bold that you would have to not be willing to follow conventional understanding or wisdom. And that to me is part genius.
They're mavericks.
Yes.
They're the original bad boys of, I don't know. No, and so that's what we're going to, I don't know what it's about. Maybe it is in New York. I don't fucking know. It makes sense. It probably is. But it's a Canon Films movie musical. And that's what we're going to be talking about 2 weeks from today.
I'm excited.
Yeah, you look like confused.
I'm nervous too, right? Because I feel like this could go one of two ways. This is either going to be a fantastic and dynamic time, or this is going to be like just an absolute shit show, and we're not going to know what to do with ourselves here.
That sounds like it's right in our wheelhouse. You're describing our target zone here, and that's what we're going to do. So that'll be 2 weeks from today, The Apple. Before then, if you have not already, please follow us on social media at the BMB Podcast on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes, feel free to leave a like or to give us some feedback. It always helps extend to other people who haven't listened yet. If you have any suggestions for beers or movies, or you just want to send us some comments, thebmbpodcast@gmail.com.
Absolutely. We always love hearing from you, and we thank you for joining us today for Cliffhanger. Hope to see you back here in 2 weeks' time for The Apple. Until then, I'm Cooper.
And I'm Nolan.
And we'll see you next time on Bad Movies and Beer.
Don't you let her fall.
There you go. That'd be a good thing. An avalanche of thrills.